Okay, so New York City, June 28th, 2025. Something really quite remarkable just unfolded right in the heart of, well, one of the most diverse cities on Earth.
Absolutely. A real seismic shift, you could say.
Yeah, picture this moment. It's just brimming with cultural resonance, surprising twists, and honestly, a lot of hope.
Hmm.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into the Democratic mayoral primary victory of Zohran Mamdani. It's just, it's not just another election result.
No, not at all. It's a story that really pulls you in. A narrative about identity, about taking a shot, playing out right now.
And our mission here for this deep dive is really to unpack how this happened. How did a 33-year-old state assemblyman, I mean, let's be honest, a definite underdog, a democratic socialist,
Right.
how did he pull off this incredible win?
Yeah, we're going to dig into his unique background, which is fascinating in itself.
Yeah.
And those campaign strategies, which were genuinely innovative, they really connected with communities.
And of course, the reactions.
Yeah.
Because they've been, well, intense, polarized, you could say.
Definitely polarized. Across the whole political spectrum, it's complex, no doubt. But it tells us so much about American politics right now.
And for you listening, understanding this story, it really gives you a glimpse into like the changing face of American identity, right? The power of seeing yourself represented.
Mm-hmm.
And just how the political landscape, especially in our big cities, is constantly shifting. So get ready, because there are some genuinely surprising insights and really personal stories here. They show how powerful connection can be.
Yeah, they really do.
So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Zohran Mamdani. To understand the momentum, you've got to start with the man himself. His journey is, well, it really feels like a classic American immigrant story in many ways.
It does. Born in Kampala, Uganda, Indian parents, moves here at 7, becomes a citizen just a few years ago, 2018.
Yeah, that really says something, doesn't it? About putting down roots, becoming part of the fabric here.
And his family background is, well, it's pretty extraordinary. You can see how it must have shaped him. His mother, Mira Nair.
The filmmaker. Monsoon Wedding, The Namesake, amazing films.
Exactly, world-renowned. And then his father, Mahmoud Mamdani, he's a distinguished professor at Columbia, focuses on African studies, a major thinker.
Wow. So you've got this blend of like artistic storytelling and deep academic analysis in his upbringing.
Right, and growing up in Queens, going to Bronx Science, think about that mix of experiences. It gives you a unique perspective, right? On the city, on different cultures, different struggles.
You can almost see how that might translate into politics, into how he campaigned.
I think so. That ability to see different narratives, maybe analyze things differently.
Which definitely set the stage for what seemed like, well, an almost impossible win. A young state assemblyman, seen as the underdog,
Totally.
declares victory in the ranked choice primary.
Mm.
And the person he beat? Former Governor Andrew Cuomo.
I mean, that's huge. Just huge. A political heavyweight.
It's a massive upset by any standard, like a real David and Goliath thing for New York politics.
And that ranked choice voting, that's key too.
Right. Explain that a bit for folks who might not know. It's not just first past the post.
No, exactly. You rank candidates first choice, second choice, third, and so on. If nobody gets over 50% right away.
Which often happens in crowded primaries.
Right. The candidate with the fewest votes gets eliminated, and their voters' second choices, they get redistributed.
Ah, okay. So those votes don't just vanish.
Nope. They go to the next preference listed on the ballot, and this keeps happening round by round until someone crosses that 50% threshold.
So it can really help someone like Mamdani, maybe someone who isn't everyone's first choice but is a lot of people's second or third.
Precisely. It encourages building broader coalitions, finding common ground, not just playing to your base. It opened a path for him.
Interesting. Okay, so beyond the mechanics, let's talk about the impact. What did this win mean, especially for certain communities in NYC?
Oh, the impact was and is profound. Especially if you look at the South Asian community, there are over 300,000 South Asian residents in NYC. And the broader Muslim community, too.
How so? What are people saying?
For many, it's more than just politics. It's like a beacon of hope, a real sense of validation. You have to remember the context, right? The post-9/11 atmosphere.
Yeah, the racism, the suspicion, the xenophobia.
Yeah.
It lingered for a long time. Still does, in some ways.
Exactly. So his victory feels like it actively pushes back against all that. It's like a statement, we belong here, we can lead here.
You really feel that in the personal stories, don't you? Like that one about Hari Kondabolu's mother.
Yeah, that was powerful. The comedian, Hari Kondabolu, he shared that his mom hadn't voted in years, just wasn't engaged.
Felt disconnected, maybe?
Probably. But Mamdani's campaign, It activated her. She didn't just vote. She got her friends to vote, too.
Wow. That really shows that cultural resonance, doesn't it? Reaching people who felt left out.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And then you have Snigdha Sur from the Juggernaut, the South Asian media platform. She framed it as a milestone not just for South Asians, but for all marginalized communities.
A sign that maybe things are changing, barriers are coming down.
Yeah, and you hear it directly from voters, too, like Zainab Shabir, she's 34, Tanzila Rahman, 29. They talked about feeling seen, feeling understood.
And they actually said, what was it?
They said, he's one of us.
He's one of us.
Yeah.
That says so much.
It's incredibly powerful in politics, isn't it? That feeling of authentic representation. Someone who gets your experience because they share parts of it.
Yeah. It's not just about policy points. It's about that connection.
Exactly. His win, through these stories, it shows that leadership can come from anywhere, from any background. It champions the idea that all these diverse experiences, the struggles, the cultures, they matter at the highest levels.
It inspires belief,
Yeah.
maybe, in a more inclusive future.
I think so. Moving beyond just what's, politically safe towards something that actually reflects the city.
Okay, so that leads to the big question. How? How did he actually do it? This underdog democratic socialist. It wasn't just about money.
No, definitely not. His campaign was smart. They really understood connection. They kind of rewrote the playbook a bit.
So what did that look like? What were the key strategies?
Well, it was this really interesting mix. Very savvy on social media, lots of relatable content, really speaking to younger voters, making it feel less formal, more conversational.
Less like homework, more like joining a conversation.
Exactly. But it wasn't just digital. That was paired with really deep, authentic, almost old school community work.
Like what?
Like visiting mosques, but not just, showing up for a photo op, really sitting down, listening to people's concerns, spending time there.
Genuine engagement.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then speaking Hindi in some settings, that linguistic connection, making people feel directly addressed, seen, respected. That's pretty rare in big city politics.
And then there was the Shah Rukh Khan moment.
Yes. That was brilliant, wasn't it? A politician in NYC quoting Bollywood's biggest star, even comparing political fights to movie showdowns.
It's just so unique. It makes politics feel personal, even fun, relatable to a whole group of people who might usually feel ignored by campaigns.
It totally does. He stopped being just a candidate and became more like, a neighbor. Someone who gets the culture. That's the kind of thing people remember. It made the campaign feel like a cultural event almost.
But it wasn't just style, right? There was substance, too. What were his core policy ideas?
Absolutely. That cultural connection was backed up by a very clear focus on policy. Big things like affordable housing, which is a massive issue in NYC.
Yeah.
Proposing free bus rides across the city, and taking a really strong pro-Palestinian stance.
Okay, so hitting on key issues.
Right, and that platform really resonated, built a strong grassroots base, especially with younger progressives, communities of color. People felt like he wasn't just saying things, he was walking the walk. He understood their struggles.
Okay, but like any campaign, especially one this high profile, it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were controversies, right?
Oh, definitely. It wasn't all just positive vibes in community meetings. There were some very public, very heated issues.
Like what specific?
Well, his past comments calling the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, a war criminal, that really stirred things up.
Yeah, I can imagine. That would get strong reactions.
Absolutely. It drew a lot of criticism, especially from parts of the Indian diaspora who support Modi. It relates back to the 2002 Gujarat riots, a very sensitive and divisive topic.
Okay.
And then his very strong pro-Palestinian position, his criticism of Israeli policies in Gaza, that also created tension.
With some Jewish groups particularly.
Yes, some groups viewed that criticism as undermining Israel's security, or even, in some cases, framed it as anti-Semitic. It really highlights how local politics can get tangled up in these huge, complex international conflicts.
And the reactions to his win reflected that complexity. Right? Very polarized.
Extremely. You had former President Trump calling him a 100% communist lunatic on X.
Sets a certain tone.
For sure. And conservative commentators like Charlie Kirk really leaned into anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant rhetoric, painting the win as some kind of threat.
But then on the other side,
strong support. You saw Democrats like Congressman Maxwell Frost praising his grassroots organizing, holding it up as a model.
saying this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Representative Ro Khanna, he really emphasized the importance of representation, saying this win shows that diverse voices can lead and that it strengthens the system.
So it really just shows the massive divides in how people see the world, see politics, even within one city.
Exactly. It's like a microcosm of the whole country, maybe even the world. All these different viewpoints, different histories, different loyalties, trying to coexist in one place. It's not just a New York story, it's about these deeper currents.
So looking ahead then, what does this victory mean beyond NYC? What are the broader implications?
Well, it's definitely more than just a local win. It sends a powerful signal, nationally, maybe even globally, about representation, especially for young South Asians, young
It
Muslims.
shows it's possible.
Yeah, it's proof their voices count, their experiences are valid, that they can actually lead at the highest levels.
But now the pressure's on, right? As he potentially prepares to take office, the expectations must be huge.
Immense, almost daunting. The big question now is, can he deliver? Affordable housing, free buses, social justice. These are massive, complex challenges.
Campaign promises are one thing, governing is another.
Exactly. He's got the energy, the approach, but navigating city bureaucracy, political opposition, turning those ideas into actual policy that works for millions, that's the real test.
Still, the symbolic win is just huge. You can't really overstate it. In a city like New York, so incredibly diverse.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, that the country's strength really does come from that mix of cultures, backgrounds, stories.
Yeah, it feels like a win for immigrants, for anyone who's felt marginalized, for anyone who believes in that idea of opportunity for everyone.
And like Ro Khanna said, it really points to the power of grassroots work, the importance of representation, that authenticity, that connection. It can actually beat established power.
Which leads to a really interesting question, maybe for you listening to think about. Given how diverse and, yeah, often divided our big cities are,
Right.
what can Mamdani's journey, his whole approach, teach us about actually building bridges, fostering some kind of unity between different communities, even when there's strong disagreement?
Can that model actually work on a larger scale? Can it overcome deep ideological divides? It's a critical question for our time.
It really is.
Yeah.
A powerful thought to chew on. Because Zohran Mamdani's victory, it really is a story about the power of a compelling life story, smart campaigning, and that deep community connection.
Absolutely.
It's a huge moment for representation for how American politics is changing. And this feels like just the start of a really fascinating chapter. Honestly, you could see it as a movie, right?
Maybe a Bollywood adaptation.
Totally. A story of perseverance, hope,
Yeah.
the American dream, playing out right now, right here in New York.